Hello, ladies. In this video, we are going to be discussing the history of the Ursulines in Louisville. One quick note before we begin is, first of all, you'll be taking notes in your Unit 1, Lesson 2 handout. And just so you know, as we go through here, as we go through the PowerPoint, just jot down notes here. You certainly do not need to take notes on everything. Definitely not. If by the end of the video you can answer these 3 questions and complete the homework, then you are in good shape. So just so you know, we're just going to be going through this kind of quickly to get a sense of where the Ursulines of Louisville have come from and where they're going. So that is what we're doing here. Let's begin. All right, so first of all, the Ursuline Convent in Straubing, Bavaria opened. So this is where the Louisville Ursulines originally are from Bavaria. And so we see that over here. All right, so and that convent was opened in 1691. So this is where the Louisville Ursulines were originally from. Then in 1858, this is when those Ursulines from there come to Louisville. So the Ursulines of the Immaculate Conception of Louisville, Kentucky, which is the formal name of the Louisville Ursulines, they were founded as an independent monastery from the Ursuline Mother House in Straubing. So, and why did they come? So they came because Bishop Spalding of Louisville sent Father Leander Streber to Bavaria to seek sisters to teach German children in his parish and other parishes in the diocese. So basically, they reached out to these sisters to teach German children in the diocese of Louisville. And so on October 31st, 1858, 3 Ursuline sisters named Mother Celicia Rettmeyer, Mother Mary Pia Schaufhofer, and Sister Mary Maximilian Zwinger, they arrived in Louisville, Kentucky from Straubing, Bavaria. So this is where they came from. And so the sisters immediately began teaching at St. Martin's School at Shelby and Gray Streets. And so this is, it was at this parish. This is a parish in Germantown. Actually, fun fact, this is my home parish, St. Martin of Tours. And it's in Germantown, so there were a lot of German immigrants. So here these sisters spoke German, and so they were then called to help serve those young children there. And so while they're down there, then the St. Martin's is downtown-ish area. And so in 1859, the sisters opened Ursuline Academy. So they were there for St. Martin's, but then they opened this school for girls. And that was opened in 1859 and lasted all the way till 1972. And so this was it. And actually, parts of this building actually still stand to this day. So this is definitely still there. So then by 1861, the Ursuline sisters began teaching at additional parish schools in Louisville. So they weren't just teaching at St. Martin's. They're spreading out. And then by 1868, the sisters began staffing schools in many different parts of the country as well. So Indiana, Western Maryland, Daviess County, Kentucky, and in Illinois. Then in 1877, that is when Sacred Heart Academy, our school, opens. And it actually opened on what used to be called Workhouse Road, and it's now Lexington Road. So it's open where it is currently, and but it used to be called Workhouse Road. And this was the original building, St. Angela Hall. Okay, then in 1903, the Sacred Heart Academy was built. So there was a building made just for Sacred Heart Academy, and that was this one right here. You might wonder why that doesn't look very familiar, and you'll find out in just a second. So in 1917, there was the dedication of the new Mother House. So the Mother House that currently stands on our campus was built and dedicated in 1917. Then in 1918, a fire burnt Sacred Heart Academy to the ground. So this building here burnt down. That is why it doesn't look very familiar. And then in 1924, Shaw was rebuilt as this building. If you take a close look at that, it might look familiar because that is the current day model school, Sacred Heart Model School. So we had a serious fire on the campus, and that is why this is no longer here. Okay, so then we can take a look at some expansion that was going on among the Louisville Ursulines around the country. So first we have the 13 Sisters establish an independent Ursuline foundation in Paola, Kansas, and then we have Sisters in Daviess County become an independent congregation. All right, so and they're known as the Mount St. Joseph Ursulines. And then Sisters begin staffing schools in Ohio and West Virginia. And Sisters begin staffing schools in West Nebraska. So we see a lot of expansion. And please note that at this point, they have been in the U.S. for 50, 60 years, something like that. So these women are pretty fearless. They're really trying to serve the nation. Something interesting and rather relevant right now. In 1918 and 1919, the Ursuline Sisters joined other women religious taking care of the soldiers at Camp Taylor during the flu epidemic. So the Ursulines helped in a major epidemic at another time in history, and now they're living through another one just about 100 years later. So that's kind of interesting. Okay, so as we continue with this information, this timeline, we're going to see that there's a lot. This Ursulines are doing a lot of. They're constantly expanding. They're constantly growing, especially with educational institutions. And they're developing and opening, closing, merging, all this kind of stuff. So that's a theme we're going to see here. So they have Sacred Heart Junior College, and that later becomes Ursuline College, and that was on our campus. And then their Sacred Heart Model School is established separately from Sacred Heart Academy. And then in 1947, so these are some cool stats of what the Ursulines are involved in at this time. And again, at this point, they've been in the U.S. for only 90 years. So they're teaching 9,705 pupils in grade schools, teaching 1,349 students in high schools, teaching 273 students in college, sponsoring 19 vacation programs. I have a feeling it's supposed to say vocation programs. Sorry about that. Offering 15 weekly religious class programs for children who attend public schools, and caring for 140 orphan children. So they're really, getting their hands dirty. They're really in the world helping and serving so much. We also see some other expansion going on. Ursuline Speech Clinic opens in 56-59 time range. Then there's Ursuline Sisters of Pittsburgh that joined with the Ursuline Sisters of Louisville. There's Angela Morisi High School opens in Southwest Louisville, and that was closed in 84. But here we have Angela Morisi down there. And then in 62, ground is broken for a new building for Sacred Heart Academy on 4 additional acres adjoining the east end of campus, which is where we are now. Also, a really cool expansion is that there's the first Louisville Ursuline missionaries arrive in Peru, South America. So that's pretty exciting. So not only are we serving, Midwest U.S., we are serving in South America. And then we have the preschool opening. Then we have Ursuline College and Bellarmine College or Bellarmine University. They merge. So further expansion. Bellarmine University is still around, so that's pretty cool. Then we also have the Ursuline School of Music, now known as the Sacred Heart School for the Arts. And then we also see the sisters, responding to some of the current times within the Catholic Church. There's the special general chapters to respond to the call of the Second Vatican Council to congregations. So this is a major development as well in the development of the Ursuline Order. Then the Ursuline Academy of Louisville closes, so that's the one downtown next to St. Martin's. So that's closed. That closed in 1974, I believe. There was another fire, and also the Marian Home, which I believe used to be a nursing home, that opened in the 70s. Okay, another important merging that we see is the Angela Merici High School and Bishop David High School. They consolidate, so they merge together to become Holy Cross High School. So Holy Cross High School is still open, still going strong, and that used to be the Angela Merici High School. Then there's also that Ursuline Child Development Center opens, and that also came part of Sacred Heart Preschool. And then a couple other important developments. There's the Angela Merici Center for Spirituality opens. That's still open on our campus. And then in 2008, so the 4 schools that we know of now, they used to be called Ursuline Campus Schools. Now they're Sacred Heart Schools at the Ursuline campus. So, and then that Marian home is closed as well. So now in the present day, so now we've come to the end. Present day, the Ursuline Sisters of Louisville continue their ministries in education. We definitely see that. Healthcare, parish and pastoral services, prayer and spirituality, and social services and social justice. Both as staff and volunteers, and they're in 8 states and in Peru. So they have really expanded in just they're about 160 years at this point. Really expanded and been serving in so many different ways. Done some pretty remarkable things. So now you know a little bit more about the Louisville Ursulines and the impact that they have made in our city and in our nation. And so now you should be able to answer those 3 questions at the bottom of Unit 1, Lesson 2. Thanks for listening.